Hey guys, Kate here today talking about veganism and why you may want to rethink what you're putting into your bodies. Most of us were raised on eating animal products. As a kid or even now as an adult, we never thought about what was behind the food that we're eating. Today I want to explain to you the truth behind the meat, egg, and dairy industry so you can start rethinking your choices. Remember, be the change you want to see in the world, or as the Buddha said, one simple act of action can really change the universe. Veganism helps the animals, our health, society, and the environment. Let's start with the animals. All animals are sentimental beings and are capable of feeling pain and a wide range of emotions, including fear, sadness, loneliness, love, caring. They're living beings that were put on the earth to live, to experience life just like we were, not to be used or killed. In my opinion, humans are not better than animals. They're our counterpart. Animals are another part of God's beautiful creation on this beautiful planet. For food production, basically, so that humans can feel some satisfaction, animals are being abused and tortured. These animals end their lives feeling tons of pain, fear, and helplessness. Imagine ending your death like that. Their bodies get charged with this negative energy, and this energy doesn't just disappear. The meat that humans later eat is charged with all these negative energies, and then humans willingly ingest this energy into their bodies. Basically, we're feeding our living bodies with something that's dead. Now, does that seem natural? When you spend money on meat, eggs, dairy, animal-based products, or products that employ animal testing, you're just effectively saying to that company, I support what you're doing, and what they're doing is abusing animals for profit. Avoiding animal products is one of the most obvious ways and easy ways you can take a stand against animal cruelty and animal exploitation everywhere. Many people identify themselves as animal lovers, because animals are amazing and super cute. But unfortunately, this love, a lot of times, doesn't seem to extend to the animals we use for food. What I'm proposing is to remember how much you love animals next time you sit down on the dinner table. We often turn a blind eye towards the inhumane way that animals are treated. It seems like animal welfare is an issue we like to push out of our minds. But for me, it's super important for our human evolution to really be conscious of it. Factory farming exhibits some of the most severe examples of animal cruelty for food production. Unfortunately, this type of farming makes the most profit. So it's difficult for smaller establishments to survive without adopting the same inhumane principles. The competition from large corporations has made it extremely difficult for anyone to offer more humane alternatives, as it is simply not as profitable. Factory farming is an absolutely horrifying business. The focus is on production and profit. The well-being of the animals, and not to say the workers, is just non-existent. It all comes down to money. In the meat industry, the lives of animals raised for slaughter are miserable to say the least. A lot of us know this, but just in case, the animals are kept in overcrowded areas with little to no room to move. The environment is filthy, the air is thick with the smell of ammonia and bodily waste. The animals suffer injuries which are often left untreated, from broken bones to burns to lesions from constant contact with their own waste. With a focus on profit, time, guys, is money, which means that slaughterhouses process as many animals as possible in any given day. It's common for the production line to be moving so fast that the methods used to kill the animals are rarely effective and cause a great deal of suffering and pain. Because of the quick processing time, many of the animals are still alive, terrified, and in unimaginable amounts of pain during skinning, scalding, and dismemberment. These are routine practices, guys. Millions of animals endure this cruelty and torture every single day. And it's not only the animals that suffer. Slaughterhouse workers are at an enormous risk as well. Cattle often weigh over a ton and are prone to thrashing and kicking right before death, so putting the workers in great danger of serious injuries. Many workers also suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and admit to taking out their frustration on the animals. Workers can also become violent at home and abuse drugs and alcohol, trying to avoid these feelings of guilt and anxiety and pain over what they witnessed and participated in earlier that day. Now let's talk a little about the dairy industry. To maintain milk production, dairy cows must be repeatedly and forcibly artificially inseminated. Guys, this does not feel good. After a 9-month pregnancy, the cows give birth, and the calves, guess what, are removed from their mothers within 24 to 72 hours in order to get as much milk as possible from the mamas. Imagine, moms, having your babies taken away from you the next day. It's unfathomable. The sooner they're taken away, the better, as the relationship between mothers and their calves strengthen over time, and the separation is extremely stressful for both animals. Milk that's produced for the calf is not for the calf, guys. It's harvested for us, for human consumption. And the calves, what happens to them? They're fed a powdered milk replacement, and they're not given that intimacy that they need with their mothers. So calves born of dairy cows are used for different purposes, depending on their gender. Females begin their lives as dairy cows at 13 months of age. Males are slaughtered for veal within anywhere from just a few hours to up to 4 months of age. The veal industry is a direct byproduct of the dairy industry. While a cow's natural lifespan can exceed 20 years, most dairy cows are killed by the age of 4 and are sold as beef. The lifespan of a dairy cow before slaughter is dependent on its ability to produce milk. 90% of dairy cows are killed for reasons such as infertility, infections in the udders, lameness, low production levels. It's horrible, guys. Rethink going to maybe almond milk. Now for the egg industry. A lot of people wonder why eating eggs is so bad. Everyone says, you're not hurting the chickens by taking her eggs. It's natural. Yeah, it's natural, but maybe for a hen, but not for us. For us to eat an ovulating egg of another animal, for me, doesn't sound so natural. Egg production involves the exploitation of the reproductive system of the hens. That just in itself is immoral. To start off, hens now are being manipulated through selective breeding to lay way more eggs than natural. A wild chicken naturally lays about 12 to 20 eggs a year, and typically only in spring. Now this is for reproductive purposes. Think about women and how on average, how often their period comes. 12 times a year. Hens are also naturally designed to go through the same process as women, but with the help of human manipulation, hens are laying hundreds and hundreds of eggs a year, way more than natural, and way more than what they're meant to do. Laying so many eggs a year depletes the hens of their vital nutrients, leading to calcium deficiencies and chronic gauntness. For some breeds, the stress on their reproductive system is often fatal. So much goes on for an egg to be produced inside a hen's body. It's really, really extraordinary. For example, for each egg a hen produces, they excrete 10% of the calcium that is stored in their bones. This is why it's typical to see egg-laying hens with weak or broken bones. If we let the eggs be and didn't take them, hens have a natural tendency to eat their own eggs, to replenish all the nutrients that they lost during their egg-laying process. They eat the eggshells to regain all of the calcium that they lost. Eggs are part of hens' reproduction system and part of their cycles. So I say, let's stay out of their cycle. Let's stay out of their way and not intend to make everything for our consumption. Another thing is that hens instinctively lay more eggs when their eggs are taken away from them. So When we take away their eggs, we're encouraging them to lay more and more eggs. And this isn't natural for them. So the less we take from them, the less they lay, the less work they have to go through, and the less reproduction they're doing. Also, taking their eggs away from them has proven to cause them lots of stress. Chickens are selectively bred either for egg production or meat consumption. Chicks bred for egg production are separated by gender. So females become egg-laying hens while male chicks are used for egg production and can't be used for meat production. So they're killed immediately after hatching, usually ground up while they're still alive. Egg-laying hens are kept in small, overcrowded cages, sometimes with such little room that the animal can't even turn around. They're often debeaked while fully conscious to prevent cannibalism in the flock. Commercial egg producers sometimes practice forced molting on entire flocks of hens. This molting is achieved by removing food and starving the hens for 1 to 2 weeks, and usually this includes water deprivation. This results in better egg quality, with only a slight reduction in the quantity of the eggs produced. This is completely inhumane. While chickens can live for more than 10 years, egg-laying hens are slaughtered between the ages of 2 and 2.5 years of age, when egg production begins to decline. Now, some people say, well, the eggs I eat are from my backyard chickens, so there's no torture there. But let's think about it. Backyard chickens typically come from breeders. These breeders are only interested in the females and crush up or suffocate day-old male chicks since they can't reproduce, since they're effectively useless to them. If you buy hens, you're encouraging the suppliers to buy more chicks. It's just another cycle. It's a supply and demand business. Farmers and breeders treat chickens like inventory. Also, as I said before, today, hens have been genetically modified to produce many more eggs than natural, so giving 1 egg a day is not their natural intention. The suffering endured by these animals is of an unimaginable magnitude. Some people choose to buy organic, humane, or cage-free eggs, but unfortunately, these terms aren't regulated and are used to mislead customers. For the most part, buying these humane animal products is pretty much a waste of money since their lives aren't much or even any better than their friends in the factory farm. Now let's talk about our bodies and our physical health. A well-planned vegan diet contains all the nutrients that our body needs. Not only that, but vegan foods are rich in these nutrients that your body needs. There have been countless scientific studies looking at all the health benefits of a vegan diet. They have discovered that there are less chances of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, strokes, obesity, some cancers, including prostate cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer. A vegan diet usually boosts your metabolism also. It has cognitive benefits. It lowers your blood pressure and cholesterol and can reduce the pain of arthritis. A balanced vegan diet can boost your mood, raise your energy levels, help your skin. It can help you with your spiritual divine connection because it's a lighter diet. It can improve your mental clarity and helps you have cleaner energy. Vegan diets can be healthy for anyone of any age, including children, pregnant, lactating women, and the elderly. Think about it. What do you think is better for your body? Providing your body something that has died, probably a brutal death, which includes everything that the animal has ingested, from growth hormones to medicine to who knows what? Or would you prefer to nourish your body with living natural things that didn't have to endure any suffering? Now let's talk about the benefits for the people, for society. A plant-based living is a much more sustainable way of feeding the human family. A plant-based diet requires only 1/3 of the land needed to support a meat and dairy diet. With rising global food and water insecurity due to a bunch of environmental and socioeconomic problems, there's never been a better time to adopt a more sustainable way of living as right now. Avoiding animal products is one of the simplest ways you can reduce the strain on food as well as other natural resources. you can take a stand against inefficient food systems, which disproportionately affects the poorest people all over the world. We're currently wasting massive amounts of natural resources by using them to support the growth of animals that we intend to kill. Animals raised for food production are fed over half of all of the world's crops. Think about how many people are in hunger now. These are resources that could be used to feed these undernourished people in the world and could be part of the solution to famine. Now let's change topics a little to the environment. Guess what's the most destructive business to the environment and the leading cause of climate change? That's right, folks, the meat industry. Raising animals for consumption uses up tons of land, water, energy, resources, and it creates tons of waste and pollution. Take how much water is used to produce meat, for example. It takes more than 2,400 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of meat. Now, on the other hand, to produce 1 pound of wheat, we only use 25 gallons of water. You can save more water by not eating a pound of meat than you can by not showering for 6 months. Incredible. Now think about all the places in the world where there's a water shortage. That's right, shortage of water. And we're using thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water to produce little pieces of meat. For me, it just doesn't add up. While factory farms are ruining our land, commercial fishing methods are clearing the ocean floor of all life and destroying coral reefs, which are super important for the sea life cycle. We're destroying the planet as a result of trying to feed people a diet that our bodies really are not intended for. The large amount of grain fed required for meat production is a significant contributor to deforestation, habitat loss, and species extinction. In Brazil alone, the equivalent of 5.6 million acres of land is used to grow soybeans for animals in Europe. In order to grow these crops, guess what happens to all these trees? Yeah, that's right. They're all cut down. Millions of them are cut down just to create soy so that the animals that we later kill can get big and fat and we can eat them as soon as possible. This process here contributes to developing world malnutrition by driving impoverished populations, such as this one in Brazil, to grow cash crops for animal feed rather than food for themselves. Breeding, raising, and feeding animals for food is a tremendously inefficient use of our natural resources. And currently, we're in the middle of the Earth's 6th largest mass extinction. So, in my opinion, it's not up to us to waste what's left. On the other hand, much lower quantities of crops and water are required to sustain a vegan diet, making it a much more sustainable and environmentally friendly choice. A vegan diet contributes to less greenhouse gas emissions, a smaller water and carbon footprint, less deforestation, you're helping save the seas, saving the bees, which are extremely important for life cycle. So as you can see, veganism is more than just a diet. It's a life choice. You're choosing to live a much more peaceful and just and sustainable life, making what you put in your mouth a conscious and moral decision. Do I really want to contribute to this violence, inequality, injustice, unsustainability? Or do I want to contribute to a more peaceful? It's super important when adapting to a vegan diet to do so consciously and in a balanced way, because there's such thing as an unhealthy vegan diet. If you have any questions on how to move towards a balanced, healthy vegan diet, please let us know. We're here to help you. We want to help you in this process. Thanks so much for watching and informing yourself about the truth. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.